We're trucking along this week.
We really are.
It's a shorter week. We're liking it. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Channing Curtis. You know what we are? We're moving things right along. Let's go ahead and move right along to Nicole Hernandez because she has all the good news for us, telling us about this nice, good weather we're enjoying. I love having you around, Nicole.
Yeah,
Although
Nicole.
we miss Thomas, but you're cool too.
Thomas is where he's like in Minnesota or something. It's fine. He's having a great time. We're having a great time. That's all that matters. And I get to forecast sunshine, which is really all I've ever wanted. Is just sun, sun, and more sun. And you can see it. It's beautiful outside right now. A little bit cooler this morning than we were yesterday morning, which I feel like I also said yesterday. We've actually dropped down to 44 degrees now as an overnight low with, you can see, a little bit of partial cloud cover here and there in Spokane, but for the most part, beautiful and sunny. Across the region, Wenatchee and Sandpoint sticking in the 50s, but Moses Lake, Spokane, and Coeur d'Alene dropping down into the 40s for their overnight lows. But those overnight lows in the 40s don't have anything to do with how warm we're getting during the day. Today, we're going to be in the high 70s. By tomorrow, we end up in the 80s and warming up even more, which I'll talk about coming up.
Now to an update on a story we first brought you here on Up with KREM as breaking news. This morning, Spokane Valley Police continue to investigate a shooting that sent a man to a hospital.
Police now say the victim is expected to recover from his injuries. Now, this shooting happened at 2nd and Havana Street. Police have not arrested anyone at this time, and they have not released any details on potential suspects. KREM 2 spoke to people who live in the area, and they say this shooting isn't surprising. One man even told us he had a bullet come through his wall. Another says he hears gunshots often.
I'll call in shots and I'll hear them like over on that side of town and like over here and even like behind me. And last night I was sleeping and that woke me up. I heard 4 shots and it woke me up right out of a sound sleep. My window was open. It's right across from them.
Now, neighbors do say that they've seen an increase of crime in the area over the past few years. Now, this is not the first time we've covered a shooting in this exact spot. Back in February, a man was found shot and killed just steps from where yesterday's shooting took place. Spokane Valley police say 40-year-old Deshaun Crawford was shot and killed inside a home there. Police say they are still actively investigating his death. No arrests have been made, and police have not said if these two shootings are connected. When we spoke to neighbors back in February, they said, again, this shooting was troubling, but not surprising.
It's crazy that it happened right across the street. Something like this is not surprising, but pretty shocking that someone died.
KREM 2 asked the Spokane County Sheriff's Office for crime statistics on this neighborhood, but they have not provided them just yet. It is 6:03 right now. Let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. A man died while running in the Coeur d'Alene Marathon. 23-year-old Andrew Walker collapsed on the 23rd mile of the course on Sunday. Several runners stopped to perform CPR and to call 911. This was Walker's first marathon. He was a graduate assistant in football operations for Boise State. The Coeur d'Alene Marathon is now planning a tribute in his honor. Daybreak Youth Services is now filing a lawsuit against the Washington Department of Health just days after the DOH suspended its license. DOH argues that 2 Daybreak facilities are continuing to see patients despite no longer having a license. Daybreak's attorney claims that DOH violated the facility's right to due process with the suspension. And teachers working in the Coeur d'Alene School District are getting more money in their pockets. Staff will see a salary increase of at least $6,300. The money for this is coming from the state funding and the supplemental levy that was approved by voters just last month. And Idaho anglers are going to have a pretty good summer. That's because this month Idaho Fish and Game is unloading about 265,000 rainbow trout in different bodies of water across Idaho. 4 lakes and ponds in North Idaho will be getting stocked. Just a reminder, a fishing license costs about $30 for adults and $16 for kids. Kids 14 and under fish for free. And that's a look at your morning rush.
So we talked about this yesterday, a little bit of moisture down in central Idaho up into Montana, and it's happening yet again today, and it likely will happen again tomorrow. It's going to be a bit of a trend for the next few days where we see some moisture popping into the outskirts of our region, but the rest of us nice and dry. I will explain why that's happening coming up in a few minutes, but first, for the most part, again, we're nice and dry North Idaho, eastern Washington, central Washington. As we head into tomorrow, we do see a little bit of potential cloud cover come through our area, but it's not going to be all-encompassing cloud cover. It will just be just a little bit of partial, and we'll definitely see the sun shining through, and it definitely will not be affecting our temperatures because coming up, I'm talking about some really warm temperatures on the way.
Well, it might not be surprising. Spokane recently named one of the worst cities in the nation for potholes, and one local teenager is on a mission to get as many of those hazards fixed. Right now, Up with KREM's Brandon T. Jones, live from Spokane Valley Tech right now. And Brandon, you got the chance to speak with this student who is working on a project to help smooth out the roads, and we love this idea. If anything we can do to improve our roads, right?
Absolutely, that's exactly right, Tim. And her name is Isabella Peterson. She's a sophomore. She's working with a classmate, working to create a mobile app that'll allow local drivers to report potholes that they drive over or they come across in Spokane County. Today at Spokane Valley Tech, there's a trade show of innovation, and basically that's an opportunity for the talented students at this school to present the projects they've been working on throughout the year or even longer. Isabella tells me Pothole Go is an app that she's been getting fine-tuned. She was a freshman. She and her classmates are at that age where they're starting to drive, so this whole concept is focused about keeping the roads as safe as possible.
So I really was like, I need to fix these because I don't want to be like driving by myself and get like a flat tire or get in a car crash because of these potholes. So I think it was just like a big issue. Like I want to try and be safe when I start driving.
In a few hours, the trade show will begin, and a representative from the Washington State Department of Transportation will be here to get a first-hand look at Isabella's app. She's hopeful they'll be able to collaborate. So the concept is that drivers go to report a pothole, WashDOT receives that data, and then it jumps to a top priority to be filled. Another cool tidbit I learned from Isabella was that this project concept and prototype won state in an engineering competition last year. So there's not an official date quite yet that's been set on when the launch will app, but Isabella believes that this is the next step in terms of getting that app ready to go for local drivers all throughout Spokane. Reporting live in the Valley, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Brandon, thank you. Love what she's doing. Anytime we do a story about potholes here on KREM 2, many of you at home tell us about major issues in your neighborhood. At KREM 2, we give you more to every story. So I dug into the numbers and checked in with the city of Spokane, the county, and WashDOT to find out how many potholes have been reported and how many have been filled this year. Here's what I found out. Both WashDOT and the county say they actually don't track potholes, but crews often fill them as they get reported and emphasize preventative care. This year, the county has spent about $375,000 on pothole repairs. Meanwhile, the city of Spokane says you can report potholes through the My Spokane 311 app. You can actually pin a location and snap a photo. They also have a pothole tracker. Anyone can view it on the My Spokane City website. It shows you so far this year they have filled 2,800 potholes, and in all of last year they filled 4,000. A new report is revealing a long list of employee concerns about working for Washington's Office of Equity and its recently ousted director.
A law firm hired by the state's Office of Financial Management began the inquiry in November. Now, employees complained of micromanagement, lack of organizational process, and inappropriate comments by former director Dr. Karen Johnson. Johnson was fired by Governor Jay Inslee's office last month. His office says the investigation was not the reason for her termination, instead citing instability of the office as well as budget and staffing concerns. Now, in a statement to our Seattle station, Johnson denied being biased towards any of her employees, saying, quote, "I believe everyone belongs because everyone is human." Johnson also said she is considering legal action.